Welcome. Today, we're diving into the regulatory requirements for setting pharmaceutical expiry dates. I'm Dr. S.K. Singh, and together we'll explore the essential guidelines and standards that ensure medicines remain safe and effective throughout their shelf life. Let's get started. Let's start by understanding what an expiry date really means for pharmaceuticals. It's the date on the label that tells us how long the product should perform safely and effectively, as long as it's stored properly. This date isn't just a number, it's critical for patient safety, ensuring the medicine works as intended and keeping quality intact. It also helps companies meet regulations and manage the product's life cycle. In fact, no drug should be sold without a scientifically backed expiry date. When we talk about regulatory authorities in the pharmaceutical world, several key players come to mind. There's the International Council for Harmonization, or ICH, which helps align standards globally. Then, major agencies like the US FDA, the European Medicines Agency, and the World Health Organization all play critical roles. On the national level, India's Central Drugs Standard Control Organization and the Pharmaceutical Inspection Cooperation Scheme also set important standards. Alongside these authorities, we follow specific guidelines, like the ICH's Q1 series, whose stability guidelines, EU GMP Annex 15, and India's Schedule M. These form the backbone of quality and compliance. Let's break down what regulators mean by an expiry date. It's not just a random day on the label. It's based on solid data stability studies, statistical analysis, how well the packaging protects the product, consistent manufacturing, and how the product holds up under different storage conditions. The key is that, throughout its shelf life, the product must meet strict standards for potency, impurities, how it dissolves, microbial safety, and physical qualities. This ensures it's both safe and effective until that date. When we assign an expiry date, we're really looking at a mix of factors that affect how long a product stays safe and effective. First, there are product factors, things like the stability of the drug itself, the type of dosage form, what's in the formulation, and how well preservatives work. Then, packaging plays a big role. Its ability to block moisture, oxygen, and light can make all the difference. Environmental conditions like temperature, humidity, and light exposure matter too. And finally, regulations require that the expiry date reflects the worst-case storage conditions stated on the label. When we talk about stability program design, we're looking at how products hold up over time under specific conditions. Long-term studies usually happen at controlled temperatures around 25 or 30 degrees Celsius, with carefully maintained humidity. Accelerated studies push the limits, higher heat and humidity, to speed up aging. Intermediate studies sit somewhere in between. These conditions follow the ICH Q1A guideline, which helps ensure consistency and reliability in how stability testing is done worldwide. Let's take a closer look at the specific environmental conditions required for India. We're dealing with temperatures around 30 degrees Celsius, give or take a couple, and relative humidity close to 75%. The country is divided into several climatic zones, from temperate regions with cooler, drier air, to hot and very humid areas where moisture levels are much higher. Understanding these zones helps us tailor solutions that stay stable and effective, no matter the climate they face. When we talk about stability indicating parameters, we're looking at a full spectrum of tests that tell us if a product stays safe and effective over time. Chemically, we check the assay, related substances, and any degradation products. Physically, we focus on appearance, dissolution, water content, hardness, and particle size. Microbiologically, sterility, microbial limits, and preservative effectiveness are key. The bottom line, all these critical quality attributes must stay within their approved limits to ensure stability. Let's talk about trend analysis and how it helps us assign a reliable shelf life. When the lower confidence limit of our data stays above the required specification, we can confidently set an expiry date. This approach isn't just guesswork, it's grounded in science, which regulators appreciate. Using regression analysis, we evaluate stability data over time, like this example showing assay percentages at different months. This method aligns with ICH guidelines, giving us a solid, science-based expiry assignment. Now, let's look at an example of calculating assay degradation. This helps us understand how the active ingredient in a product breaks down over time. By measuring the decrease in potency, we can predict shelf life and ensure safety. It's a crucial step in quality control, making sure what we deliver remains effective until the very end. This example will walk us through the process, showing how data turns into actionable insight. Let's take a closer look at how shelf life varies across different product types. Tablets and capsules typically last between 2 to 3 years. Injectables have a slightly wider range, from 1.5 to 3 years. Biologics, being more complex, usually have shorter shelf lives, around 1 to 2 years. Assigning these shelf lives isn't random. It follows a careful process. We start with development batches, run stability studies, evaluate trends, and apply statistical analysis. Then, a shelf life proposal is submitted for regulatory approval. This rigorous approach ensures safety and effectiveness throughout a product's life. Now, let's talk about the ongoing stability program, a key post-approval requirement. Once a product hits the market, regulators expect us to keep an eye on its stability over time. The goals here are clear: confirm the approved shelf life still holds, catch any unexpected changes, ensure manufacturing stays consistent, and support market surveillance efforts. Typically, this means testing at least one batch per strength every year. We follow guidelines from major authorities like WHO, FDA, EMA, and PIC-S to stay on track. Let's explore some of the emerging innovations shaping how we determine expiry dates. Artificial intelligence is playing a big role, with predictive degradation models and shelf life forecasting becoming more accurate than ever. Digital twin technology lets us run virtual stability simulations, cutting down on guesswork. Advanced analytics provide real-time trend analysis and multivariate stability modeling, giving us deeper insights. Smart packaging now includes time temperature indicators and stability sensors, making monitoring easier. And on the regulatory side, there's a clear shift toward data-driven lifecycle management approaches. It's an exciting time for innovation. When it comes to regulatory compliance, there are some common pitfalls we see again and again. Stability programs often fall short. Maybe there's not enough data, or expiry dates aren't properly supported. Sometimes, the rationale behind testing strategies is missing, or trend analysis isn't thorough enough. Then, there's the failure to investigate out-of-spec or out-of-trend results. On the data side, incomplete records, unvalidated software, and missing audit trails are frequent issues. These gaps can lead to serious consequences: warning letters, observations, product recalls, or even reduced shelf life. We've drawn on guidance from key global authorities, the ICH, FDA, EMA, WHO, and others, to build a solid foundation for expiry date determination. The science behind these dates is rigorous. Stability studies must justify every claim. Climatic conditions, statistical analysis, and ongoing monitoring all play crucial roles. Looking ahead, AI and predictive analytics are transforming how we predict shelf life. In the end, an expiry date is more than a label. It's a promise of safety and quality throughout a product's life. That brings us to the end. For any further support or questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for your time and attention. It's been a pleasure sharing this with you today. This video was created with SlideSpeak. Visit SlideSpeak to turn your presentations into engaging AI-narrated videos.